Fascinating colours and endless variations of movement with dramatic scenes, enhancing behaviour and close relationship with nature in our home garden. Let's feed our garden birds. The dry season. Not much food to survive. Rapidly moving trend to capitalism take wild birds away from their homelands. Tidier gardens and changes in farming methods have reduced the natural food supply to a huge range of species. Finally, the extreme weather. Changes occur as a result of human act to nature. It creates unforgivable changes to nature. British wild birds are in danger. As a dewdrop to the desert, feeding wild birds becomes more popular today.
Feeding birds is a very popular activity, and over half of adults in the UK take part in it. We believe it provides a touch of nature to your garden, and it can be a very pleasurable thing to do.
50% of British households feed birds as a hobby. We still can improve it, not only for the sake of nature, but for pleasure. An awesome answer to the growing trend of stress.
I just like to take care of the wildlife. Just enjoy feeding them, seeing the birds and that.
I like to take pictures of them. I've got quite a few pictures of the birds that have come in my garden. More interesting when you see them and the various species which we get, which is very varied.
The modern approach to garden bird feeding is to use foods that support specific nutritional requirements of a wide range of species over the course of a year. There is scientific evidence highlighting the positive effects that provisions of supplementary food can have on our birds.
In the winter we tend to put more fat stuff out. We make fat cakes for them. More nourishing, more mealworms, and when they're breeding we put more mealworms and fat suet pellets we put out for them, and things which they love.
Well, natural things, this various seeds, but there is suet pellets which they love because they got lots of fat in them, and that gives them lots of energy, especially in this time of the year when they're breeding. and the young ones need lots of energy food. There isn't many caterpillars around at the moment, so they suet pellets help that.
If you provide both natural and supplementary food, your garden will be visited year-round by a host of different birds, and garden will turn into a wildlife haven.
The types of bird that you attract vary on what sort of food you put down. There are some foods that are breed specific, such as robin and songbird, but it's advisable to research the area that you live in to see what sort of birds are there already, so you can feed them and help them thrive in their environment.
We have the smallest bird in Britain, which is the goldcrest, and we also have the biggest bird that comes in here because we've got a pond, which is the heron, which steals the fish.
We recommend a variety of foods is always best. You can have seeds or peanuts or mealworms and suet as well. But it's best to find out what food attracts what species there.
End of spring. The new arrival. It is important to feed garden birds responsibly and safely. It will help local birds to overcome periods of natural food shortage, survive periods of severe winter, and come into good breeding condition in the spring. There are different mixtures for feeders. The better mixtures contain plenty of flaked maize, sunflower seeds, and peanut granules. At the end of winter, there are natural signs that tell us to stop feeding. The appearance of large numbers of insects and the buds on the trees begin to open are all good guides.
They still get their other food, but it's just a sort of like a top-up to help them, especially when they're breeding, which we've had, and they've fledged.
If you wish to continue feeding birds during the spring and summer, current thinking is that this will cause no harm as long as hard foods are avoided. Sunflower seeds attract more species, and they are eagerly taken and unlikely to be harmful if given to young in the nest. Feeding birds can cause many different side effects to nature, such as changing habitats, lack of reproducing, and poor healthy chicks. We as humans have done enough disasters to nature by now, so we need to understand the needs and limits of garden bird feeding beforehand.